From New York, Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
You know, I want to take calls right now because yesterday on the show, we didn't really, all we knew was someone shot from Mandalay Bay Hotel from 32nd floor, knocked a window out to take shots at people watching a concert with a fully automatic rifle, which is illegal. So part of the gun control conversation, you have to factor in that this man had an illegal firearm, completely illegal.
Yes. Yep.
But he did have a ridiculous amount of weaponry in his home that was confiscated, which is another conversation. But oftentimes people ridicule me and criticize me because when these national disasters happen, these tragedies happen, you know, while we mourn and we send blessings and prayers, you know, in my mind, it's still the time to have the conversation about motives, reasons why things are happening. But for some people, they're like, oh, it's too soon. You gotta wait. And I feel like I could do both. I mean, that's me. I'm not a politician. I'm not, you know, on this radio to be friends with everybody. I'm here to communicate, entertain when we can entertain, and have honest discourse when we can do that as well. But I guess I want to take calls from the audience today because I feel like we're living in a time where you have people on one side who are ready to have honest conversation about everything that's happening in our country because there's so many things on the list that we have to cover. Matter of fact, I think people said that we didn't talk about Las Vegas enough yesterday. But what was there to talk about? Was I going to take calls from people who were upset? Of course, everyone's upset. Are we going to speculate about motives or allow people to turn this into a conversation about politics? And I didn't feel like that was where we needed to go yesterday.
I don't think it was.
And I felt like we did cover it. We talked about what we knew, and we delivered the news.
But I got criticized because people said, well, why are you bringing up all of America's problems? Because it all goes together.
Of course. We all
mental health issues, nutrition. Politics getting in the way of us saving lives, like what's happening in Puerto Rico, in my opinion. Poor people being taken advantage of, race issues, white supremacy, all of it is part of our everyday now. And I guess what I want to ask the audience is, do you guys feel like I'm not being sensitive enough? Or do you believe that we can have honest discourse and dialogue as well as be critical of things that we find lackluster?
I think the latter. I think yesterday we did a good job not over-politicizing in the moment because I think that would have been in poor taste to jump out of the gate and just make everything yesterday about politics and guns and what's Trump going to... I don't think that's appropriate in the specific moment yesterday. But I think by and large, I'm proud of the balance that I think we strike. But
then you look at the papers today, the cover of the Daily News. I don't know how they get away with that.
And we were critical of that because, we feel here, and I'm sure all of us are on the same page, like, why isn't this man's face plastered in the front and why isn't he called a terrorist?
Well, we discussed the fact that they stopped doing that because they feel like people try to martyr themselves.
But why does it bother me? Because I feel if this man was Muslim, it wouldn't have been like that. Wouldn't have been the case.
Well, because you're an American and you know the shade that takes place and how racist media can be. Let's go to Dez in Newark. Brace for some crazy talk. Dez, what are you saying now? What is this you want to say?
Well, I believe that the biggest problem in America is that, we don't have a citizenry that's armed. The only people who are armed is the criminals and the bad guys who wish to do, innocent people harm.
How would that have solved Las Vegas? What would have been different about Las Vegas?
I mean, Las Vegas is one of those incidents where, it's really not much that anybody could have done until the police got to the guy because he was so far away.
Right, but he was armed.
I'll bring up, what about the nightclub incident?
My point is, Des, he was armed. He was armed like a small army. And that's what he decided to do with his artillery. So your point about people need to be armed, I don't think everybody needs to be armed. I don't think everybody's mentally equipped to be armed.
Yeah,
matter of fact, I'll take it a step further. People like yourself who are so enthralled and romanticized with people being violent and being armed are a part of the problem. And I don't even really like having that conversation. And I'm not even anti-guns. I have guns. I'm not anti-guns. But that talk is not necessary. The citizenry needs to be armed. No,
Like
they don't.
what?
Who? Who are you talking about?
Especially after yesterday. What, you think a concert should have just been filled
And
with
then he
people
tried to
shooting
bring
back?
up the nightclub shooting. That's stupid. You're stupid, sir. So people were so you think that when the nightclub shooting happened down in Orlando, if everybody was in there with their pistol,
All things would have been different. Are you crazy?
That's the craziest talk.
You crazy?
A lot of people think that, though. You'd be surprised.
so it would have been a shootout.
That's what.
It would have been a disorganized shootout, and you think the death toll would have been less with everybody popping off.
Ridiculous.
Nicole out there in Long Island, the question I wanted to ask is, do you think that we're discussing some of these things too soon? Because I get critiqued. And
No, not at all. Because what's sad is that it takes for something like what happened in Las Vegas for people to actually listen. And what you're saying, you're pretty much doing it at the right time. Because, yeah, some people pay attention to it, but now everybody's like, oh, gun control, oh, this, oh, that. And you're saying it at a time when people are actually listening and putting thought into it. It's like some people might take offense to it, but at the end of the day, we need better gun control laws. Like, nobody should be walking around with an automatic rifle.
Well, he shouldn't have been. I mean, it's not like that was legal yesterday either. Let's be clear about that.
Yeah.
And, we discussed earlier on the program, I don't know, we hear these terms like loopholes in gun laws, federal background checks. This guy had what? Where's my notes? 50-something different pieces.
40-something of them.
Yeah, it was 40-something.
Hundreds of rounds of ammunition in his home. Explosives. What's that for?
For what? What do you need explosives in your house for?
Kanika in the Bronx.
Hi, good morning, Ebro.
Are we covering this stuff too soon? Should we be waiting a little bit longer as people mourn? I feel like, I personally feel like we should be able to do both.
No, I actually think you guys did a good job at covering it yesterday. Like, you were just getting facts. So for you to stand there and speculate would just cause more of an uproar and, have the country going more crazy than what it is. I think y'all do an even balance. Like, y'all still give us the giggles and everything, but y'all also cover the news as it happens. So I can appreciate what you guys did yesterday.
Thank you, Kanika.
Thank you. I hope so.
Give us the giggles.
I'll tell you one thing, though. This job is a unique one because morning show radio is one of the only jobs in the world where you cover absolutely everything.
I said it yesterday. I was like, Ebro in the morning is an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, like if there had been nothing yesterday in the world, nothing, like somehow Trump had been quiet all weekend, maybe all we do is Kylie Jenner when we come in. You don't know.
We came in with the plan yesterday after Saturday Night Live to have a really good time with that audio.
Yeah.
And woke up to the news of Las Vegas and really didn't know how to watch in real time the worst mass shooting in American history as the numbers were still unfolding. And I know people were like, cover it more, cover it more. I didn't know what you guys wanted me to say or us to say other than this is terrible, this guy's an a-hole. And why does he have so many goddamn weapons? And really discuss the fact that our country is based on violence. Are people really ready to have that conversation yet? That everything about this country is, in its beginnings, is violent?
You mean the fact that the whole conversation we had the week before about the national anthem ultimately is also about our romanticism with violence.
Yes.
Because we don't celebrate. Let's be honest. Our military has a lot of heroes. So does our nursing force. So does our school teachers. But we don't celebrate them.
We bring the military out.
We need military, guns, people who fight. Like, nurses are as much heroes to me as people in the military.
God, people were EMT workers.
and
Their job is to save lives. That's it.
We have teachers who walk into the worst neighborhoods in this country every day.
Fire department.
And help children, mold them. We don't honor them at sporting events. We only honor, the flag only gets lined up with the violence. And people think that's not connected to what happened this weekend, but it is. It's all built into our DNA, this fascination with gun violence.